On today's episode, we're gonna go autocross racing. So it's pouring rain, and we have a autocross at Bristol Motor Speedway tomorrow morning. So I have decided almost last minute that we are going to go pick us up a trailer and take one of our other project cars to Bristol Motor Speedway and go have some fun. So there is a 10% chance of rain tomorrow, so one of two things. There's either going to be less grip than there is now, or there's going to be no grip. So let's go pick up the trailer. For those of you who don't know what autocross is, it's effectively a time trial race. So you're racing against the clock in a parking lot. We'll set up road cones and build a small racetrack of sorts, and everybody gets timed runs within a class. It's extremely competitive. A lot of road racers like to give autocrossers a hard time, and vice versa. But autocross is very competitive. Most organizations have a rule against high center of gravity vehicles, which means vans, SUVs, trucks. Now I have seen that you can get exceptions from time to time, but generally if you're racing an SUV, you're not going to be very competitive. It's not going to be fun. You can get something as cheap as like an early generation Miata, Civics, GTIs, pretty much anything that is even remotely sporty, and go out and have fun in it. This is the first autocross of our season. It's at Bristol Motor Speedway in Bristol, Virginia. And it also happens to be daylight savings time. So guess who's running a little late? We should make it there in time for tech inspection. Ideally, you want to get there 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, at least at our event. You know, each SCCA region is run differently, so they all have different start times, end times. A lot of it depends on how big the group is. We've got a pretty large group, so we can start early in the morning and run for the better part of a day. So these Bristol events are pretty much you're dedicating the entire day going out here, competing, and coming back. Now you can drive your car, you don't have to trailer it. I prefer to trailer mine because it has an ungodly loud exhaust system on it, just barely within the noise regulations. Most of your locations will have some sort of noise regulation. So the Bristol Motor Speedway is 101.5 decibels, I believe. I come in right at 98.5, depending. So it's really loud, and it makes for a very long drive if I have to drive it a total of 3 hours, you know, especially an hour and a half after competing. Last summer, the air conditioner went out on the way back from Bristol in the middle of August, and that's one of the times that the aerodynamics of a Porsche 911 don't help you. There was no airflow into the car, even with the windows down. I mean, when I say no, I mean there was some, but it was not enough to help cool me off. And I was probably 100 degrees in the car. Did everything I could think of. Basically drove home with ice cold bottles of water in my lap and on my neck, and had to pull over every 20-30 minutes. So there's days that it's beneficial to trailer your car. And you don't have to get a fancy expensive trailer. I'm using a U-Haul. About autocross is that it's very low risk, but you get to have fun, you get to hone your driving skill. I've seen one major accident during an autocross where the car had to be trailered home. Actually, one of the guys in our group last year, he kind of overshot a turn, and the back end came out, and he ended up trying to correct it and hit one of the concrete islands in a parking lot. But those are the extremes. I mean, he's very competitive, he's very fast. He was trying to get that extra little bit. If you're just getting started, you're probably not going to push it that hard. And the nice thing about doing autocross is it teaches you at a very safe level that smooth is fast. And if it seems like you're going slow, you're probably going faster than if it has a lot of drama to the drive. Many times the cars that you watch as you're doing your corner worker, they look very slow, but they're the fastest ones in the group just because there's no drama. It's kind of road racing versus drifting. And I know some of you drifters are going to argue that Kiichi Tsuchiya was able to beat everybody in the 86 races and blah 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 blah. But generally speaking, the more drama, the slower the lap. One thing that's nice is you get to get up on a Sunday morning and just go out here and just kind of have some peace from the week. I love going out to Bristol as long as I'm not running late, because when I leave, the sun's not even up at my house yet, and it starts to come up at the racetrack, and it's very peaceful, very serene. It's my happy place. It's just kind of being there at a racetrack at sunup as the whole world sort of comes to life. Some people get it, some people don't. So we're going to try and get some video to basically walk you through your first autocross event. When you get there, you're going to have to go register. Generally there's a tent or a trailer. Everybody has their own way of doing it. We have a trailer where we go register, and it's very cost-effective fun. If you get a SCCA membership, for our region, it's only $40 an event. If you go to at least 3 events, the SCCA membership is kind of paid for itself. If you go to more than that, then you're making money off of it. It's actually more cost effective. Plus, if you get an SCCA membership, then you get a subscription to a magazine, some stickers, discounts at various businesses, and you get to find out about other sporting events. We're going to try, I'm going to fix a few things before it's track ready, but we're going to try and take the 911 to some of the SCCA track nights is what it's called. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off, charge it up so we have plenty of recording time, and we'll get going. See you at the track. Alright, so we made it to Bristol just in time for tech inspection. And we're doing the course walk now. This is going to be a very fast course. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm running way behind schedule. Completely forgot the GoPro in the car. I'll go get it for the runs and whatnot, but I gotta walk the course a few times first, so I'm not flying blind. So after that first run, I feel like this is a good time to explain the rules of autocross. So as you can see in this photo, you have two types of cones. The ones standing upright and then the ones laying down. The ones laying down are your pointer cones. They're sort of a directional arrow on which direction you should go around the cone. They don't count if you hit them. If you hit the upright cones, those are a time penalty. In this photo, you can see what is good and what's not. So you can still technically hit the cone as long as part of it is still in the box and it's upright. That includes hitting it, flipping it up into the air, it twirling around 4 times and landing back squarely in its box. If it falls over, it gets nudged out of the box, or if your car eats it, it's no longer good. The difficult part is that at speed, these cones all get confusing. They can turn into a sea of cones. That's why I missed the bit toward the end of the last run. When I got down there, everything just looked like orange cones scattered everywhere at speed. You're probably doing about 50 mile an hour, 60 mile an hour through the parking lot, depending on what kind of car. At the end of the day, this is what you see coming up at you at 50 miles an hour, and you have just mere moments to figure out exactly which direction you're supposed to go, how to minimize your time penalty, and make your fastest lap. Meanwhile, trying to do all of this from memory of what you walked at a very, very slow pace early in the morning and probably didn't have enough coffee. At this point in the day, we've all had 2 runs. It came down to myself, 2017 Corvette, and a Porsche Cayman for the top spots. By the end of it, it was between the Corvette and myself for first place. This was going to be my last run, so I had to set a time that the Corvette could not beat because he was going to get to run after me. I had to channel my inner race car driver and make no mistakes and put the absolute fastest lap I could together. I know what you're wondering. Who ended up winning the race? Well, at the end of the day, when you go to an autocross event, while there is competition, it's more about learning how to push yourself, push your car to the limit in a safe way, in a safe environment. When you go compete, you're going to make friends from all walks of life, and you'll get to see some amazing cars being pushed to their limit as well. It's all about developing driver skill and hopefully allowing you to take the next step closer to your racing dreams. Make sure to reach out to your local SCCA chapter or NASA to get started. Thank you again to the East Tennessee Region SCCA for an amazing event as always. While shooting this video, we had been in talks with a company to help us out with builds. I would like to formally introduce Red Mist Automotive as a sponsor of DIY Racer. Make sure to go check them out. They can be found on facebook.com/redmistautomotive. They carry a huge selection of many parts and will be able to help you with your own build and upgrades. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and feel free to comment at the bottom. If you have any ideas on what we can do for future videos, in addition to the Mazda Miata race car, feel free to comment and let us know. Thank you.